Platchums!
I have been collecting trophies since 2008, back in a world where emos were still wandering the streets.
I'm an emo kid, non-conforming as can be. You be non-conforming too if you look just like me.
And The Dark Knight had just released.
Are you speaking bat? Is that what bat sounds like? Oh, God.
I am that old. So it was kind of a small little community that I kind of tempted Dan into, maybe around 2009. And for years, we were the only two people that we knew of that actually cared about trophies. So it would often be the case where if we were around friends, we would sneak off to discuss the trophies away from the other gamer friends because even they were like, that's just fucking sad, lads. So I remember there was ps3trophies.com. That was like the hub, the original like kind of beginnings of PSN profiles. And it was from the ashes of PS3 trophies that PSN profiles kind of came into life. It's a bit of a history lesson. What can I say? We're both trophy savants. So it's been a little bit bizarre though. And this is kind of the topic of what we're talking about. Is trophy hunting becoming cool? What do you think, so. Dan?
Yeah, I think in the last number of years, it's gotten cool. You know,
like cool, like badass, like not even ridiculed for it, because so many YouTube channels have been cropping up, this one included, and loads of articles have been written about trophies. And I feel like more and more people than ever are going for platinums. And it's sort of, it's been funny to be there since the inception of the trophy system and to see how like developers have implemented trophies differently and just how kind of mainstream they've become.
Yeah, I think we can go all the way back. And like you were saying,
all the way back.
It was a weird thing. It was like, you know, achievements were out and then trophies came in and no one cared. Then there was this, you know, birth of the collecting trophies, which was cool, and Hakum reigned supreme. And
Hakum, you can't talk about trophies without talking about Hakum, the first trophy hunting celebrity on the scene. Back in the days when he had 100 platinums, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I remember what it was like. You know, I was, like we've said, I was a little bit past you. You know, you introduced me, so I only started really in 2009. So I had kind of, you know, to establish myself and kind of catch up a little bit.
Safe to say you succeeded in that.
But it was really niche. Like we often say that we're niche anyway, you know, that the trophy hunting community is niche, but it's not so much anymore. Like I think if you have a PlayStation now, you kind of know about platinums, you know, like even if you're not a big gamer, even if you're not like super into, you know, finishing games and things like that, you know what a platinum is. You probably have the Spider-Man plat, you know, there's
you've picked up
a lot more
plats.
Focus on it. Yeah, it's not unusual now for people to have plats that wouldn't even, you know, consider themselves gamers in the like traditional sense, I suppose. Whereas for us, it was like a continuation of, you know, like I would have always went for the 100%. I know that you were the same. GTA, you know, for me, it was like Final Fantasy and RPGs, collecting everything and maxing out characters. So that was like the natural progression for us. But it's become something a little bit different now. It's become a numbers game, I think, first and foremost in a lot of ways. But it's, you know, like you were saying, there's a huge amount of content out there now. There's a lot of competing trophy sites. You know, there was ps3trophies.com and .org. .org changed the name.
PlayStation
the name
trophy.
And they're still going, and they not as much, I think, as they used to, but they're still there. There's True Trophies, there's PSN trophy leaders, there's
Power Picks is
has
their own thing. Yeah,
we got Brian in PlayStation Trophy, you know, PS4 trophies on YouTube. There's a huge amount of content creators out there making trophies, but then even trophy like PlayStation focus channels like Mystic, like PlayStation Access, they have so much content about trophies now. It's really gotten into the it's jumped that bar, I think.
It's jumped being a niche. Into it. Like we used to think that we're like the cool indie bands, but we're just Coldplay. We're just Coldplay.
An amazing analogy. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good analogy. I'm very impressed with that one. Yeah.
Thank you. I pulled it straight out of my ass. Yeah, but you know, it's funny. Like, it's not even. It's. I guess, you know. I'm not a big fan of them, but you know, like even channels like Walk Culture.
Yeah.
And Games Ranks. You know, they frequently have stuff relating to trophies, and I just feel like there's far more active trophy hunters out there than.
Yeah.
I would say even on the like early PS4.
Yeah.
Days, like I think the past 6-7 years has seen like a shift where I think Sony has been highlighting them more, and like with the trophy tracker system in the PS5, it's like they're trying to showcase it more and kind of encourage people to go for platinums. And I think the other side effect of it, you said it's a numbers game. What's cooler than having a bigger number than someone else? You know, kind of like, oh, look, you're there with your 67 platinums and I've got 72, you useless prick. You know, like but trophies are easier, I think, to obtain than ever before as well. So I feel like it's completely destroyed the elite snobbery mindset that I had, that, you know, it's the quality of the platinum.
The elitism is still there for me in some ways. You know, I try not to be an elitist, but I was listening to PlayStation Access, and they had their podcast, and I think they're always a great listen. You know, I like how they're very personality driven, and they're good fun, and I always like their content. But they were talking about, you know, who had the most platinums in the office, and they were like, you know, 10 plats, 11 plats. I was like, 10 plats. Got 10 plats this week.
I wipe my arse on 10 plats.
But no, like they're great. And they don't take themselves seriously at all. But yeah, you know, even people that we know, like we were saying, like even friends, like it was very different before. They weren't interested in trophies.
They really weren't. Like, you know, we've kind of lived and, you know, went to school with or college with people that like were really, really avid gamers, but it was kind of like I was always, you know, if I'd be up at 2:00 eating pizza still half cut from the, you know, being out in the pub, and I'm going for like a trophy. You know, friend come in and go like why are you going for that trophy? And I'm like, I don't know. Or like, don't look at me, you know, like, don't look at me, the shame. Or they just go like, what's the point? Just play the game normally. But it's funny, as time has gone on, a lot of those friends have actually started going for platinums actively and getting some like amazing platinums. I'm like delighted. It's like, welcome, you finally get it, you know. So I think that it's probably a self-feeding thing where like it's becoming more and more popular because there's more of a support system and a community in place. I mean, how many people are tracking their trophies on PSN profiles? Like it's in the millions at this point.
I saw they just broke 4 billion kind of tracked trophies yesterday. So that was cool to see that number go from like 3.99 billion, you know, to 4 billion.
I'm going to have a slight brag. I was the 73rd member on PSN profiles. That's how old school I am since the year dot, because you can see which member number you are. So I signed up shortly after the after.
How do you do that? I must check.
Yeah, check yours. Check your number. Beat
where 73. Do I see it?
So go on your profile, right?
Yeah.
And in the URL, there's a number. So I'm going to do it right now, just to double confirm, in case I am actually talking pure shite here.
No, I no, because I know I'm definitely wasn't. I'm not definitely not as active on it as you, but I
was number 116. Sorry,
116,
I gloated too soon.
Well, that's still, you know.
Where did I get 73 from? I was so adamant it was 73.
there must have been, maybe you had 73 plats or something.
Yeah. No, I got 73 plats this week. No, wait, I'm gonna check yours.
Check yours. So I'm looking.
I'm on the Ninja Vampire. You are 7,403.
Well, like now, come on, that's not very impressive.
Yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, I was thinking I might have been like one of the secret, because I remember joining pretty quick, but obviously not. 7,000 is yeah. Anyway, I think it's very clear that when we started collecting trophies and doing stuff, it was you were a weirdo. Like, you were a complete weirdo.
Yeah, and like, why would you care? And you see, I don't really care about achievements. Like, Sony's Masterstroke was having, the platinum. There was something to it. And I still remember, right, Old Man Yelled at Clyde. Do you remember the platinum used to count for the overall percentage? So you'd be at 71% and the platinum will count for like the last 29% of the game.
I don't remember that.
So it used to be where like that was weighed on the percentage.
Yeah.
So you could be at 50% or 60% and a bronze away from the platinum. And it's only when you get the platinum that it jumps up, but they changed that quite early on to where
I don't remember that. So it must have been like at the start, or maybe, even before I started.
The first couple of months, because I remember the last, I think Uncharted, I went from 70%, and the platinum was like 30% weighed, like the points. So there is a little bit of history for you, lads. History of the trophies.
The start was definitely weirder because there was I suppose they definitely didn't know what way they were going to go, but yeah, it's changed. It's definitely changed. I think trophy hunting is kind of cool now. I think, if you were chatting to someone about PlayStation and you told them that you had platinums, I think they would be like, they'd be kind of like, oh, I know what platinums are, and before they would have been like, what are you talking about? So it's kind of gone.
I want to confirm that they play PlayStation, but if I'm in a pub or a nightclub and go, hey man, by the way, I have 159 plats.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned it specifically to anyone. Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
I must try it out. But I feel like, maybe a few people, but I think
we should go out in the street and just talk to random people and just open with, hey, nice to meet you, I have 159 platinums. Yeah, and just gauge the reaction.
Let's give it a go. Let's try it out. Let's see, does it work?
The Platchums social experiment.
Yeah, Platchums on the street.
Platchums gone wild.
So yeah, I think there's definitely been a kind of a cultural shift with trophies in general. I think it is cool to go for them now. I think it's obvious because look how cool we are now, so
yeah, we're quite cool. We're hip, we're hot. We're with it. No, it'd just be interesting to say. I think it's going to continue to get more and more popular. And I think the PS5 generation will kind of solidify like trophy hunting and gaming going hand in hand, as opposed to trophy hunting being a weird deviant thing that only weirdos do and a very, very small niche. Because we don't feel as alone anymore, because it was a lonely existence, me and you back in the day, wasn't it? Like very, very few resources on particularly in the video guide realm for like collectibles or anything like that, but there's obviously an audience for it, and I think that it's probably going to just keep getting cooler. People are going to be able to go on a dating show, and there'll be Love Island, and someone will be on it that goes like, oh yeah, my name's Nick and I've got 205 platinums, and then all the women are going to go and then he's going to win the show based on his platinum count. I feel like we're approaching that as a society.
We're fast approaching that type of realm. Absolutely.
And are you happy that it's kind of gotten a bit mainstream? Because I do think it is as a result of like the devaluation of platinums, and that they're far more accessible, that it's kind of, taken away a slight bit from the legitimacy of the leaderboards, or is that something that you don't really care about?
I think much like yourself, I don't think it's anything that has ever really been on my radar. I've never, I'll admit, I do like to see especially the Irish leaderboard, just because it's a leaderboard that I can actually kind of, you know, compete with, I suppose.
Well, you see, the Irish leaderboard, in fairness, is it's where the big boys play. It's the most, you know, it's just the most illustrious leaderboard that you can get, filled with like such classic names as like Spud Potato, I think I said.
Yeah. No, it's just because they're so, I suppose, like, it's not very exciting seeing my, like, say, world rank at like 6,000-7,000, but it's more exciting when I see like 2 digits rank for, you know, the Irish one, because it's one that it kind of looks, oh yeah, you know.
Where like, are you in the Irish leaderboards?
I kind of constantly float around kind of 38 to 40, 41 sometimes.
I feel like we should try to get in touch with the number one in Ireland.
And well, like, there's a huge jump in Ireland, like saying the number 1 to number 2, like there's a massive jump. But yeah, like, I've never been super concerned about the leaderboards, but I would say, like, I'm all for people getting into the trophies and, you know, and getting plats and stuff like that. I think there's a huge different discussion about, you know, like the kind of pay for play platinums, where you can pay, you know, €1 for effectively what is a free platinum, you know, like the breakaway arcade ones or something like that. But
yeah,
you know, like, ultimately, I think if you're really into games, that's not where your motivation is going to be most of the time. You're just going to want to play the games that you want to play and stuff. But like, at the same time, it is kind of impressive. Funny, we were looking at another YouTube channel yesterday. We were chatting about this channel, and there's a YouTuber, maybe we won't go into names, but there's a YouTuber who's got platinums in the kind of 1,000 area. You know?
He got 900 platinums in a year.
Yeah,
like 900 platinums in a year. And
in a year,
if sorry I'm cutting you off, I just want to squeeze this in what's on my mind. It's like, when we were just talking about it, we're going like, that's just proof right there that, like, it's insane to me that someone can get that amount of platinums in like 8-9 months. Like, it.
Yeah, well, it really is, and it definitely comes down to the kind of games you're playing, and you know, and of course that's a different way of playing, and I appreciate that that's a, you know, completely legitimate way of flying up the leaderboards and things like that, and that's cool. It's not for me, because I like to.
Wouldn't be for me, no, in fairness.
I like to play. I suppose I look at the game before I look at the trophies, but you know, not that I'm innocent for never looking at a trophy list. You know, I would definitely.
Oh yes, you dabble. Yes, you have a little cheeky peek every so often.
But yeah, you know, I think that's I'm happier that more people are playing and getting trophies, and I think it's worth the devaluation of like the trophy system if people are into it, you know.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I think people are getting more, I guess, kind of like just engrossed in the game, and that they're more willing to kind of play a game in different ways for a trophy. And I think like the sense of community is great, because, as I said, like, being a niche within a niche, it's a less small niche now, yeah, but it's really cool just to talk about, like, because that's kind of a driving force of games that's been around since the dawn of time, that kind of competitive edge, but also like sharing tips and, like, you know, kind of urban legends about games. It kind of feeds into that a little bit. It's kind of like a continuation. I think it's like, it's almost gaming in its purest form, and that's what the trophies represent, you know, kind of the completion, finishing the game, the kind of like competitive element, the cooperative element, and ultimately just a bunch of pointless pixels that we all love dearly. It's just gaming in its unfiltered form. So it's kind of cool to see it being so normalized and getting a bit of like traction and attention, and that even 5 people bother to watch people like us.
Yeah, and I think I have to clarify as well that, you know, the people who get 1,000 trophies or 1,000 platinums in a year, they're like probably a very, very tiny minority, and that probably doesn't impact the overall like landscape of trophies that much, I would say, because there's only a small subset of people who are kind of willing to do that. And I think the emergence of more people being exposed to trophies is external from that. It's not connected to that at all. I think it's just maybe more I would say probably the thing that did it is the Sony first party games, the stuff.
Yeah, because they sell the most, and I think that opened Pandora's box a little bit for many people. But your Spider-Mans of the world, your Horizons, maybe even God of War. I was going to say The Last of Us, but I'm like, that's not an accessible trophy list at all.
No. Last of Us 2 is, but
Last of Us 2 is, but Last of Us 1 is like nah. So like it's a good development for trophies that it is kind of, it's cool. Like I feel like we should make a t-shirt just says I got these Plats, what of it? Or we should try to hop on, to be the hipsters in all this, So I think we'll leave it there. I think we can all accept that we're cool. That's essentially the end of the discussion right there.
Yeah, we finally made it in the cool club.
Hey, look at us
small anecdote. It's like watching one of those videos like PlayStation Access or Game Ranks or whatever, What Culture, and it'd be like, they'll have some trophy like statistic or hardest platinum to get, and it's like some like 7 out of 10, and you're like,
or Bloodborne.
You're like, yeah, Bloodborne, and you're like resisting the urge to comment to be like, well, actually,
I think you'll find the Bloodborne is actually not that difficult.
Platchums.
Let me pull up all the articles that we were talking about.
The articles.
Well, I think it wasn't that the thing that like really, it's that we're getting so much oh god, sorry, I turned my Bluetooth off and then didn't realize my Bluetooth keyboard wouldn't work. I was like, what's happening? Where do I put this?
Yes, the framing. Yeah, no, I like the frame. Well, mine is like pompous 101, isn't it? It really
I've nearly actually got like a second row of PS4 games now.
Nice. I really need to work on my PS4 physical collection. Like I bought Evil Within 1 and 2, but then I looked on eBay and I'm like, fuck, I could have got a physical for like a $5.
Yeah, I actually have I have the PS4 version and the PS3 version now. But they're both very cheap in CEX. These are my ones I've borrowed. So they kind of have their own little sections. Yeah. Pretty much, they're just your games, actually.
Yeah, no, like I'd say the gap that's formed there, you could pretty much fill it with the games that I have from you, in fairness. And I'm just going to answer this and give them a call. 2 seconds. Hello?
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money.
Yeah, it'll be tomorrow, if that's all right, yeah.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Cheers, thanks, Mill. All right, good luck, see you, bye-bye.